This is big news for Canon APS-C shooters. It's an ultra-wide prime with a blazing bright f1.4 aperture. And if you're into astrophotography, this thing's perfect. Unless, of course, you live in the UK, in which case, good luck seeing a single star through the rain clouds. Hi, I'm Simon, your friendly photographic correspondent, covering all the major camera announcements, keeping you up to date on what's important, so that way you can make, well, smarter buying decisions. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more news just like this. And according to YouTube, 53% of you aren't yet subscribers. So please go ahead and punch that subscribe button. The Sigma 12mm f1.4 is an APS-C lens that delivers the equivalent of about 19mm on a full-frame body, is dust and splash resistant, and comes with coatings to repel water and oil. That means you can toss it in your bag, take it hiking, shoot the night sky, or vlog handheld without worrying about if it's going to weigh you down or let every speck of dust get in the way. Sigma also promises smooth autofocus, minimal focus breathing, and a control ring on the Canon RF version. Pricing will land at around $629 with expected availability in early September. Canon's APS-C lineup is kind of like a, well, restaurant menu where everything is boiled Albuquerque chicken. Sigma is taking that menu and adding a little bit of much needed, well, spices and seasoning. In 2024, Sigma announced the 16mm, 23mm, 30mm, and the 56mm, along with a pair of zooms. This 12mm completes what many call the Sigma Penta Prime lineup. For Canon APS-C shooters, this is a lifesaver. Canon's own RFS lineup is still mostly thin, or mostly kit zooms and slow glass. Sigma is basically stepping in and saying, don't worry, we've got you covered. But while APS-C shooters are being looked after, Canon full-frame shooters are still waiting. Sigma's latest full-frame release, the groundbreaking 200mm f2, was announced for the Sony E mount and the L mount, but not for the Canon RF mount. And yeah, that does sting a little bit, just like Sigma's 300 to 600mm f4. That also skipped the Canon RF mount. And while APS-C is important, it really is, because this is how we get people into the camera business with APS-C or Micro Four Thirds. The absence of a full-frame third-party lens or third-party lens manufacturer is a bit of a sore spot when, well, in the marketing, in what I'm trying to say, in the marketplace. So if you're looking to buy your first camera, you know, you look and go, oh, this is a really nice camera, I like the R5, but then you find out that they really don't make a lot of affordable lenses, that they're really aimed at pros. You're starting out, you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Sony or Nikon because they have more affordable bodies as well as more affordable glass. You see, full frame, that's where professionals and serious hobbyists live. And right now, Sigma is leaving, well, Canon full frame users out in the cold. Though rumors do suggest that Sigma is working on even more exotic lenses, like the 200mm f1.8. But again, no signs of Canon RF support. Just imagine for a moment if Canon shooters got, well, Sigma's very famous 35mm f1.4, or the 85mm f1.4, or even, and this is where it starts to get exciting, the 24mm f2.8. And of course, I've got to say this is going to be the most popular lens that they've come out with, and that's the 150 to 600mm. Wouldn't that shake things up? I definitely think so. I love the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. I like the R5, but even I have to admit that if you're not into Canon's high-priced, high optical quality lenses, there really isn't a lot of options for you out there. Now, thanks to Sigma starting in 2024, at least when it came to APS-C, we started to see more affordable glass, and that makes a huge difference. That's really important. But the market is asking for more. Fast wide angles, mid-telephoto zooms, or mid-telephoto primes, versatile zooms, and those exotic sports lenses without, well, what many consider to be the Canon tax. Not everybody wants or needs the best of the best. I'd love to see Sigma bring over that compact 20mm f1.8 for landscapes and astro, the 85mm f1.4 for portraits, and of course, their bread and butter, the 24-70 f2.8. These are all full-frame Canon. Well, these are all lenses that full-frame Canon shooters are craving, at least the ones that are, well, hobbyists or getting into the marketplace that can't afford to drop, well, $2,000+ on a lens to go with a $4,000 camera. Sigma, thanks a lot. We love what you're doing with APS-C on the Canon RF mount. But for many of us, the real game is full frame. And until we see Sigma RF full frame glass, the market remains wide open. I get a sense that it isn't Sigma that's holding things up, but the negotiations with Canon to get approved lenses on the RF mount. We've seen this over the years, going back to 2020 and really being enforced in 2022, Canon protecting their intellectual property, which, more power to you, Canon. You can certainly do that. You're well within your rights. But what you're doing is you're pushing a lot of people to Sony, people who can't afford the 24-105 f4, let alone the f2.8, the 24-70 f2.8, the 50mm f1.2. And yes, I get it. The 50mm f1.4 is a great lens. I've got it right here. I love it. It's one of my new favorite lenses. But it's not about me. And it's not really always about you. It's about delivering what the market wants. And the market has been saying for years that we need more competition. Look at all the lenses you've developed for the RF mount, Canon. You've developed some really impressive lenses, and this 200 to 800 millimeter, again, that's a shocker for us, and including the price point at that lens. But for a lot of people getting started, looking at buying an APS-C camera, they'll look at Canon, they'll look at Sony, they'll look at Nikon, and some will just go with a kit lens, but others will take a little bit more time and they'll look at the lens inventory. And what they'll see is when it comes to third-party lenses, companies like Sigma have very fast lenses, but that are very affordable and built really tough for a very affordable price. And at that point, well, Sony starts to look a whole lot better. And of course, once these people have gotten started, if they decide to become more than just, well, an entry-level person trying out a camera, if they become a professional or a hobbyist that really loves photography like we do, well, you know, they're going to upgrade within the Sony E-mount. There's a few that will jump ship, but let's move along these approvals, or let's remove the barriers to getting approval, because since apparently you've opened up the mount, we haven't seen a single full frame lens that's been made, that's been announced for the RF mount that has autofocus and all the full capabilities, access to the mount's full circuitry, capabilities, and all that wonderful stuff. So that's my message to Canon. What about you? What Sigma full-frame lenses would you like to see on the Canon RF mount? Drop your thoughts in the comments section. I have an idea of which ones they're going to be because I've done some polls in the past. There's so many opportunities here. I was recently at the zoo and I saw somebody with a long lens, and guess what lens it was? It was a Sigma. And if you guess the 150 to 600 millimeter, you're right. And why? Well, because it's affordable. And if you enjoyed this video, well, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so that way you don't miss the next one. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the lenses or camera bodies that I talked about in this video, there's still quite a few things on sale, although we're seeing prices going up, and I hate this. Seems like 2020, that's the way things go. But if you see a really great deal and you're interested in purchasing from Adorama, B&H, or even Walmart or Amazon.com, I've got links down below. And if you click on those links, if you use those links, then, well, you're really helping to support this channel. I don't use sponsorships. This channel is very much viewer supported. And a big thanks to any of you that have used them in the past, even if you're just getting a simple blower for cleaning your lenses. Thanks so much from the bottom of my heart. It means an awful lot to me, especially at a time like this where I feel like the market's completely dead. There's very little coming out. There's very little news. It seems like, I would have to say right now, what is it? We're not quite September yet, but as we enter September, 2025 has been really quiet, too quiet for everybody. And I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it's a combination of many different factors, but also 2024 was a big year, so we could also have that as potential things are kind of slowing down, getting ready to ramp up into 2026, 2027. There's also the uncertainty around trade agreements. People aren't, or companies aren't really sure what to expect. We've already seen price increases go up on DJI by some 20 to 30%. We've seen prices go up on Japanese, at least in the United States, but outside of the United States, we're seeing prices go up as well. And people in the US might be asking, well, why? You don't have to pay tariffs. Well, no, but inflation is up. And inflation is up. Well, guess what? That affects us all. Yeah, good news. Anyhow, thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, subscribing. It's very much appreciated. And we'll see you in the next one.